Some interesting reveals at the New York Auto Show. A lot of supercharger talk. And I got interviewed. Oh, yeah. The weather's kind of crappy. So this will be what's up from my garage. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of What's Up. This one's going to start off a little differently. I'm going to do some channel updating information real quick. And this whole episode is probably going to be a little beefier than normal. Just is what it is. Some stuff about the channel. If you haven't seen, I was interviewed by Walter from the Network Architect, and that was put on the Out of Spec Bits channel this past week. I will definitely link that in the description below. If you have not watched it yet, please go watch it, give it a like, give it a comment. Let's blow that one up. As you can see, I got a new microphone. I've actually got a new lavalier microphone also when I'm out and about, because I listen to you when you make comments, and I've had a couple different people mention that my audio wasn't great on my old mic, especially compared to when I was just no mic and going off the phone mic. So I decided it was time for some upgrades. So hopefully this sounds better. Please let me know. I can still make some adjustments. Just so you know, I am listening. And with that, I may need to push the next What's Up back. Usually I've been doing them every other week, but there's some station openings going down, and that's what I started the channel on, is getting out there and showing the chargers. So I'm kind of waiting on the Walmart in Lake St. Louis to open. If it opens, it'll probably preempt this for a week, and then we'll get back on the schedule. But this was meant to just be an in-between whenever. I'd like to keep it every other week, but I'll do what I got to do to get the right information out at the time. And part of that will be spent with an upgrade, a revamping of the ratings system for the chargers. I don't like the spreadsheet that I've got shared. It's just not appealing. It's not user friendly. So I've been working on a new platform, and it's kind of going to look like an app. The biggest issue I've run into with that is the one I'm using can't do the half cups. It doesn't recognize them. So I'm going to have to change the ratings to a 2, 1, 0 instead of a 1, half, and 0, which was also suggested early on that I go to that type of rating. So here I am, listening to the people. So got my scooters today, and it's going to come with a new name that I'm not going to reveal yet. Still working on that, but I got to go through, redo all the numbers, get it all put in, so when that goes up, it'll be on the video. So be looking forward to that, or don't. In auto industry news, the big thing this week was the New York Auto Show with quite a few EV reveals. First was the Kia EV3. This will be replacing the Niro, so it's the smaller, more compact SUV, 400 volt architecture, approximately 320 miles EPA rated range. Looks like a capable small family-ish SUV. Also, Subaru unveiled the Getaway based on the Toyota Highlander EV, 3-row big SUV. Out of Spec Dave did a video on Out of Spec reviews. You can go watch them all there. Really good coverage there with him. Go check those out. Slate unveiled that, well, sort of unveiled. Slate just gave out more information, but late June, they should be announcing pricing and more information with, I believe they said deliveries, or at least orders going by the end of the year. So good to see that moving forward. Be interested to see those when they come out. Journalist Berk, I saw, did an article on Inside EVs. I'll link below. He got to actually drive the Jaguar Type 00 prototype. His impressions were good. It wasn't a finished product, it was a prototype. What surprised me the most was that there was an actual working prototype. I kind of thought this was just going to be vaporware, and Jaguar was just going to take their hotel room air conditioner looking car and fade off into the sunset, but apparently not. And on the heels of those reveals, Honda announced that pretty much they're done with EVs for now. Protolog's gone, the ZDX is gone. They canceled the Afeela program with Sony. So kind of interesting that Toyota's coming in, Subaru's coming in, while Honda's leaving. Mazda's doing Mazda stuff. We'll see where it goes. It's interesting every week. These are coming, these are going. Obviously, this is U.S. market. The rest of the world is still embracing EVs full force. So let them get it squared away and we'll get the good stuff. Onto the national charging news. Big thing, Google Maps rolled out the Android Auto route planning feature to over 250, 350 vehicles. My Mach-E has had it for a while. I guess Ford was kind of the test bed for it. It works really well, does a great job planning. My only issue with it generally is it thinks I need to stay at the chargers longer than I should, but it still gives me good stops to choose from. I usually go in and tweak them here because it likes networks that I don't prefer, and if I know there's a better charger there, I'm going to set it up for that. But that's pretty big that through Android Auto, Google Maps will have full route planning, and it actually talks to the car so we can work with the BMS to guess where you're going to go. But it does a pretty good job. I usually gain 1% every 50 miles or so, depending on the weather. Sometimes I lose it in the cold, but it's overall a good guesstimate. Tesla announced they opened their 80,000th stall recently. That's a pretty big number. That is worldwide. That one was opened in France, but they are still plugging forward, and I'll talk a little more Tesla Supercharger in a little bit. And another one I found really interesting is there's a company called eVerged offering their zero-cost swap program. How this is supposed to work is if you are a site host or a property owner with old, defunct, broken, no longer supported equipment, whether it's level 2 or DCFC, they'll come in and they'll do a rip and replace, put their equipment in, work with you on however the payments are going to go. They also are offering advertising on their screens to give you a little more revenue. So if you have any old equipment that is no longer supported because it's either broken, your contract ended, or the company that put it in is no longer in business, look into eVerged. They'll come in and maybe make you a good enough deal to make it worthwhile. Working equipment is always better than broken equipment. In local charging news, an interesting one. I talked the last episode about the St. Louis County new regulation, ESO, that if you're building a new commercial lot with more than 50 spots, it has to have a 5% wired, ready to go, EV ready parking spots, and 2 or 3%, can't remember the exact number, of installed chargers once the lot is open. What I didn't realize then that is going on is that is also including government official buildings. So there's the St. Louis County Court in Ladue, somewhere around there. Haven't been there, thankfully. But they just are getting ready to finish or just finished the bidding process to have a bunch of chargers added to that lot. So if you are near any county government buildings, keep an eye out. You might see some chargers going in. And also, Ameren, Missouri updated their smart energy plan recently, shifting its focus towards grid outage prevention. In an EV way, it's interesting, they've installed over 2,000 smart switches in the area. So what this can do is kind of answer the can the grid handle it question. So these smart switches that are installed can just proactively move energy around where needed, so kind of protecting neighborhoods around DCFC hubs. So if you're worried about that going in, Ameren is actively in the area working on upgrading the grid. So everyone always says the grid can't handle it. The grid can handle it when it's upgraded to handle it, and the power companies are doing a very good job so far of upgrading as necessary. And now we're going to head out to our man on the streets, me. Thanks, Eric. I'm down here just off of 270 at the Deerbergs at Heritage Place at the site of a new Electrify America station getting ready to open up. This is a site that I visited a couple months ago in my Are These Sites Actually Coming Soon video, and well, one of them is so far. It's a 10-stall station in a good location. Looks like it's just waiting on a meter, so it should be opened up here pretty soon. Most stalls will be pull-through if needed. I don't know if this is a heavily trafficked area for trailers, but we'll take what we can get. With that, this was just a quick update on the progress of this new Electrify America station, once again at the Deerbergs at Heritage Place, and we'll send it back to me. All right, thanks, me. Appreciate the update. Look forward to getting out there and doing a full site review once it goes live. All right, soapbox for this week. I'm going to go after Chargepoint. So what you'll see in next week's video is I did stop at a Chargepoint station while going to another station. And there was no information about the service fees they're adding that were supposed to have gone live, I believe, at the beginning, late last month. Yeah, it said it was a rollout, but generally if you announce something like this and you put a date, you flip a switch, there's your service fees. Apparently it's not. They're doing it here and there and everywhere and not telling anyone ahead of time, not giving, as far as I can tell, there's no rhyme or reason to who's getting the service fees and who isn't at this time. And I think that's a poor way to do things. That's why I'm on my soapbox about it. If you're going to announce service fees and you're going to announce a date, do it, because now you got people rolling up to stations and maybe they realize it, maybe they don't. I think the communication is garbage. I don't like service fees. That's never been a secret on anywhere. It's an immediate 0 on your charger rating when I'm out there if there's a service fee. I think it's just as easy and effective. Bake in a 1 kilowatt hour or 1 cent per kilowatt hour into the regular price. I mean, hide them. I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way when I see a service fee, and I know there's a few out there. Ready has some pretty nasty service fees. EVgo has service fees at a lot of stations, but it's an immediate no from me. So, but yeah, if you're gonna do it, do it. I know you said roll out, but roll it out, get it out there. Stop these, because someone's gonna use the charger one day, come back, and then like, why is this more expensive now? And once again, jump in the comments. Let me know if I'm off base. Probably can't change my mind. Finally get to introduce a new segment here, kind of a Q&A, questions from the people, because last week or 2 weeks ago, right after I filmed the last episode, I got a question. So I'm going to answer it. It's from Steve. And he put out there just my general thoughts on the evolution of Tesla Supercharger network to keep up with competition in 2026. He posited 3 ways to go with it, and I'm just going to go after all 3. Why not? It's my show. I can do what I want. The first part he was wondering about is my thoughts on ending the V3 production that Tesla recently did. And my thoughts are, I didn't know they were still making the V3s. I thought once he started pumping out the V4 units, cabinets, and dispensers, it was all V4s. So I don't know where to go with that. I guess I should pay more attention, but yeah, I didn't know they were still making V3s, so it doesn't really matter to me that they stopped producing V3s. The second part he brought up was just the rollout of Supercharger for Business. If you're not aware of this program, any business now can basically just buy superchargers to have put in. They can put their own branding on them. Tesla still supports them, keeps them going. They all have magic docks. Francis Energy is doing a big rollout of these, kind of doing a rip and replace on their old equipment. Hopefully they hit a certain one that I have to use more than I want to. But it would be nice to have a better charger up there. The one there now I'm lucky to get 100 at a low state of charge, and that's not fun. So yeah, I do like the Supercharger for Business that they're doing. I think it's a great way to keep up with the competition, to get in there with other networks and get the equipment out there and let everyone else brand them themselves. Sure. The third point was Tesla revealed these new fold-up V4 units that I think that's a great way to speed up implementation. That's the whole point. They come 8 dispensers and the switchgear all on a single unit. You can either drop them next to each other, so you have each side has its own charger, or they fold out and you can do 8 across. So they're fully wired up, ready to go. All you have to do is have the floor or the ground ready. The truck pulls up, forklift, boom, hook up the power, ready to go. So overall, yeah, I think Tesla is making some good moves to keep up with the competition. The competition is getting intense now. Iona is full bore. Pilot Flying J is moving. Walmart is moving. So yeah, they definitely have to adapt at this point. Probably still the gold standard for charger reliability, but I think they are under attack on that, and they have to make some adjustments. One of the adjustments I'd like to see is better amenities. They like to drop those superchargers just wherever they can find a plot of land, and sometimes, usually no canopies, a lot of times no trash cans, and the ground just becomes a trash can. No restaurants around. I mean, they've gotten a lot better about it, but I think site placement is their biggest room for improvement. And if you would like your question featured in this segment, just keep an eye out. A couple days before I record these, usually on Wednesdays, I put out a post on the community part of the YouTube channel, on Facebook, and on X, Twix. I like calling it Twix because I'm sick of this X, formerly Twitter, garbage. Keep an eye out for those. As I said, usually Wednesdays. I usually record on Fridays. Sometimes it'll be a Saturday for a quick turnaround. But yeah, if you have any questions, anything you want me to discuss, drop it there, and we'll see you on the next segment. And to finish things up, the creator spotlight of the episode. I guess it's not the week, it's every other week. And this week I am spotlighting the Plug and Play EV channel ran by Steve, who, yes, was the one who asked the question that I just answered. Really good channel. He's been around for 7 years. Good following. Good guy. He does broad EV videos, but he also does as he likes to say, and he can get away with because he's British, his fortnightly coast to coast. It's a live stream that he does every other week with a couple guys. Usually it's Walter, Eric out in California. Landon, I believe, is going to be on the next one. But it's just usually it's an hour and a half open live stream. You can ask questions. I'm usually in there in the comments and the questions, putting in my 2 cents for whatever it's worth. But he's shouted me out a couple times already, so now it's my turn to return the favor and shout him out. He also does a weekly newsletter you can get by email. He calls it the 121 newsletter, 1.21, Back to the Future reference. You probably knew that. But anyway, it's a weekly newsletter you can get sent right to your email. Comes out every Sunday. Good information. He covers DCFC, industry news, and AC charging, so all your level 2 site stuff as well, which is still very important. And he's also trying to get going on, once again, the term his fortnightly, basically turning the 121 newsletter into an every other week video recap, a little shorter form than the full newsletter, but hitting all the highlights, and probably a lot like mine. Anyway, Steve's a good guy. His channel's really good. Check out Plug and Play EV. There will definitely be a link in the comments. All right, so that's all I got for this episode. Thank you if you made it this far. Once again, check out the links in the description for things. Go watch that video, my interview with Walter. Go watch some of Steve's stuff. And with that, I will see you on the next one, whenever that might be. Probably in 2 weeks, possibly in 3 weeks. Like I said, if that Walmart station opens up, it's more. I think that's important enough to push the next one of these back a week. So with that, I'm gonna keep working on my scooters. I'll see you on the next one.